Hey guys! In this video I'm gonna be taking a look back at 2020 and how it was for me in terms of Gunpla and modeling projects. Actually, I'll start with something different. In January, I decided it was time to make a new outro for my channel. Just like with my intro, I wanted to make something related to Gundam, but not too obvious. So I ended up going with this segment from the Build Fighter's second ending. I drew myself in a similar pose to Sei's, scanned the drawing and did some editing on my computer. There's also that shooting star animation too, that was fun. Then also in January, I resumed this unfinished project I started back in 2017. It just needed some finishing touches, since most of the work was done 4 years ago. You can learn more about this build on my Facebook page or the project review video I posted here on my channel a while ago. Before proceeding to another build, I did some other stuff like practicing weathering on leftover parts. This here is a result of one of those sessions. I think it's important to practice on scrap pieces sometimes. Like, you don't necessarily need to try things on the actual models. Anyway, almost halfway through the year and still on chill mode, I put together this simple mini diorama using some recycled stuff. It was a fun little project. In July, I revisited another old diorama build. This is a model I originally built in 2018 for a little contest. The deadline was closing in and I had to rush it quite a bit, so the result wasn't very convincing. The base was too empty and clean. I took my time to make improvements, add things and weather up the concrete, and even though it's definitely not my best work, I managed to take it up a notch. Throughout the year I play around with Photoshop a lot, making some logos, editing previously scanned drawings and whatnot. I even made a short animation too, which was pretty cool. And at one point I realized I needed a sort of rebrand for my social media. So after some planning, I came up with these designs on the right. The one at the top is used online as a profile picture, and it is to me, as a modeler, what a logo is to a brand. I used the other one on photos of my finished models, as a sort of watermark or signature. After that I finished the Garibaldi. This was the first build in my partnership with Hobby Japan. It was a relatively long project, mostly because I wrote 13 tutorials in this series. I also worked on it parallelly with my personal builds, and that definitely slowed down the whole process. That said, I'm satisfied with the result. The rain effect was rather difficult to photograph, but I like the way it turned out. I'm really happy with the weathering on both the mobile suit and the house. It was an enjoyable build, but it also made me realize that I shouldn't make too many articles for one single model. It was a good learning experience. Then for the final finished model of 2020, a build I worked on and off the whole year, and that's the Beetle, my entry in the original mecha contest. I really had to run against the clock for this one, but I managed to meet the deadline. The build involved a decent amount of scratch building. It was a nice challenge. I got to test and improve my sculpting, scratch building and detailing skills, and I feel I learned a lot from this model. In November I entered this guy and 2 other models into the first edition of the Sci-Fi Model Fest, an online contest open worldwide but organized by Spanish speakers. So okay, most of the time I use English to interact with fellow builders online. My channel is in English, my Facebook page is in English, so it was nice to join a competition where everything was in my native language for a change. The event included 2 live streams through which the winners were announced, and there also were guests offering really insightful talks. That was a nice touch and very positive for the Latin American modeling community. Regarding the results, thankfully all my models placed. The Beetle got 3rd place, the Garibaldi also got 3rd place, and I got a 2nd place with the Mark II. As for unfinished builds that I'm dragging out from 2020 to 2021, the Haro, I wrote 4 tutorials on it for Hobbling.tv last year and just wrapped up the series with one final post a few days ago, but there's a bit of work to do before I conclude the project. there's also the RE Vignagina, which should be done by February or March. But anyway, that's all for this video. I have more content coming up soon here on my channel, including the work in progress videos for the Vignagina and a few other upcoming uploads. Stay tuned and stay safe.